Welcome everyone. We're going to kick off a webinar today. So I know we've got quite a few people joining and from different parts of the world. So welcome to the webinar today. We're going to be talking about some automation, prepress automation with our partner CYANfix. So thanks everyone for taking the time out. So today what we're going to cover in the webinar, we hopefully will wrap this up within 45 minutes. I know everyone's super busy. But what we'll cover is just a bit of an introduction, who's on the call, the partnership with CYANfix, which is super exciting, some of the features that the prepress automation tool can do. You'll be taken through a demo and some Q&A. We'll try to get into the demo relatively, quickly, because I know that's where all the show and tell happens, and we're at the super exciting parts. So what I might do is introduce myself. I'm Rachel Davis. I'm the General Manager for Australia and New Zealand for printIQ. Met a lot of you guys on the call, some I haven't met before, but welcome to the ones I haven't met. Justin Webber, our Sales Manager for Australia and New Zealand. We've got John Pestel and Chris, who are the co-founders of CYANfix. You probably also know John as well. So he works for printIQ as an implementation specialist part-time for us. So I'm sure a few of you on the call know John already, but just wanted to do a quick introduction. Justin's going to be managing the questions and answers. So as the webinar goes on, just put your questions and answers in the little box. Justin will answer those towards the end or when appropriate if it's throughout the webinar. And we're going to be tag teaming throughout. So over to you, Justin.
Thanks, Rachel. As Rachel said, there's a lot of current customers that are on the call, but there's a few, that aren't customers, few potentials. So for those of you who don't know, printIQ, we're celebrating our 25th year in business this year. We're now up to around 56 staff around the world, and we've got sites in the UK, the North America, and Australia and New Zealand. And we've got now 300 plus customers or clients around the world, and with multiple sites in some of those customers as well.
Excellent.
So we still have all in-house development done out of Wellington in New Zealand. We do a major release and minor release each year with new features added. We are currently about to roll out 48.2, with the next major release will be 49, which will be around about the middle of the year. We continue to expand our product. We've been offset, digital, wide format. We're now labels, packaging, promotional products. As we're showing today with CYANfix, we've got a lot of partnerships. This is just another one. We'll hand over to John from CYANfix, and he can talk about CYANfix and then take us through a demo of how it all works.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you, Justin. Obviously, as Rachel mentioned, I've been involved with printIQ for probably about 15 years now, as an employee, as a contractor, and as a customer. So I've dealt with IQ on all sides of the coin. How CYANfix came to be over the years of delivering automated prepress solutions to printIQ customers. One of the biggest hurdles for the customer was the cost. Purchasing expensive software, the supporting of the infrastructure, and sometimes complex setup required significant investment. What we've done is we've bundled all this up into a SaaS solution that we feel is very competitive, and it takes all of those issues away from the customer, and by having one company to deal and support the whole solution. Now, again, whilst CYANfix is a relatively new company, this offering has been in development for over 2 years, backed by staff that have been, Chris and myself have been delivering automated solutions for over 15 years. So, we're not reinventing the wheel here. We're just trying to reduce the cost and get automation into more companies. Okay, so here's a quick workflow of what we will be going through. From order entry, so in the demonstration, I'm going to show a customer logging into printIQ and accepting a quote that has been previously created by an estimator. The on-quote acceptance, the uploaded artwork will go through an automated preflight. On successful preflight, CYANfix will create the proof, trigger the proof communication that will be handled by printIQ. The proof approval process will all be in the printIQ application, and then on proof approval, printers marks or artwork manipulation will be completed, and then it pushes through into production. One thing worth mentioning is, we're only showing a limited number of options. And I'm not going to proof every product because I don't want to go over the same thing multiple times. We're trying to keep it short and sweet and to the point. Again, here, this slide just tries to show the benefit of a SaaS solution. We're showing the differences between the cloud offering and a locally hosted option. Now, again, this is a budget point. This is an entry into automation. There are limitations with the solution not being on-premise. And by that I mean if you've got an on-premise imposition application, or if you want to push straight into a DFE, because the solution is not on-premise, it makes it a lot harder. So there are limitations. So, but ultimately, what we build for our customers is owned by our customers, and there is a clear upgrade path from a cloud to a local solution. So anything built in the cloud environment is fully transferable to an on-premise solution.
Excellent. I'll just, so I think we'll move into the demo now, John. If you're okay with that, what I might do is I'll stop share, and if you want to pick up the share and take,
yeah, sure.
Take it. Yeah.
Okay. Just move this out of the way. So now, as I mentioned, I'm going to be logging into printIQ as a customer. I'm currently in as an internal user at the moment. So apologies for those people that haven't seen printIQ in depth. In this demonstration, I'm going to make certain assumptions that people have seen or are using printIQ. So if I just flick to this browser here, now I'm logged in as a customer, so we can clearly see that I can only create an order. I can see existing quotes and I can see my current orders. What I've got here is a quote that I created earlier to speed up the presentation. We've got some business cards. The business cards are pretty awful artwork. They've got some shockingly low-res images in there. We've got the same product twice. Now we've got a brochure here. It's a 6-page roll fold DL. Now we all know our customers can supply this in a number of ways, but what we're showing here, what we're going to show here is we can accept that either as a landscape A4 or as a 6-page DL. And our solution will figure out what's been supplied and then confirm that it matches what's been quoted. We've got a self-cover booklet that again is this is gonna just look for a spot color. So actually the 2 brochures are the products with the proofs on. So here you can see I've selected a proof. Now printIQ does support multiple proof contacts. so we can select multiple proofs for one item. And then over to some pull-up banners. So what I've tried to do here is the CYANfix solution works across all sectors: wide format, offset, digital, packaging. In the pull-up banners, again, you know, we all know that there's the visible space of the artwork, and then there's the additional space required, or the additional material that is required to go into the banner base. We've got one artwork here where the customer has supplied with some additional space at the bottom, and then one file where the customer hasn't. So I'm going to just skip straight through now and complete the order. I've already attached the artwork to the quote, so it makes it nice and simple for me just to drag and drop the artwork onto the orders. And then confirm. That's me as a customer now done. I can see my orders are in. I'm now going to flick to printIQ. If I just refresh this screen, I can see now, yeah, all of my orders have landed on the pre-production board under the preflight. Yeah, so the first thing that happens is the preflight is going to take place. What we will start to see is notes will be added to the jobs as they process through printIQ and CYANfix. If I go into the history, yeah, I can see here that XML has been exported. Yeah, so CYANfix picks up the XML. The XML contains all the details of the jobs. So that's got all the critical information that we need to verify what's been quoted is actually produced. Okay, so I can now see I've got some notes on all of the jobs. So if I go back and just refresh this screen, I can see here the artwork has been transferred into a folder structure. And now I've got over here, I can see all my folders have been created. If I go into one of these, yeah, I can see in here the artwork that was supplied by the customer, it remains in that folder untouched. And then what we can see is there is a separate folder for the CYANfix. So anything that CYANfix does to the artwork, yeah, always remains separate. So you've got a clear QA process. So you've got what the customer supplied, yeah, and what actually went to print after. There's always two copies of the file. So if I just go back to my pre-production board, refresh the screen, I can see all of them have now gone except for one. Yeah. So for which I would have had a email. The customer gets an email stating that here we've got low-res images. Yeah, so the customer can choose to accept or replace. Now, again, in IQ, it's fully configurable whether you decide to send this communication to your customer or whether you want to handle it internally by your prepress department. So for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to accept and continue. If I was to replace the artwork, I'd have to upload new artwork and the process would start again. It would go back through the pre-flight process. The artwork would be checked. If it passed, then it would go on. If it failed or warned for whatever reason, the customer would get another email. One thing worth noting on this email here is this is a warning, so therefore they can choose to accept the warnings. Yeah. If it was a hard failure, no, we can't work with this artwork, they would only get the option to replace. Okay, so I've now confirmed that I've accepted those warnings. If I flick back to printIQ and just refresh this screen, That's now gone. Yeah, so all of the jobs now have gone through pre-flight. If I go to the next tab, yeah, I can see here we've got 2 jobs on proof. Now, if you remember, the 2 brochures were required to be on proof. So if I go into the job, I can see here a proof has been added. So, and an email has been sent out. So this, again, this is all handled by printIQ. So I'm just going to copy this hyperlink, and then these are a secure link email. So you don't need a login to IQ to be able to accept the proofs. So here I can see I've got the proofs for both of my brochures. Now, before I go off and approve those, I'm just going to highlight the fact that here we can see here the job is a 6-page roll file, yeah, and it was a 6-page file that was uploaded. So that's 99 by 210, so that's good to go. So that it passed pre-flight successfully. If I look at number 3, that's exactly the same quote. The job was a 6-page roll file, but 2 pages were uploaded at 297 by 210, which is essentially still a valid way to supply the file. But we've built the smarts to say, well, either way is good enough. The job can go ahead. So I'm just going to go back to my incognito tab. Again, I can choose to select them all. I can download the proofs in one go. I can review the proofs one by one if I want to. I'm going to approve. Now, if I chose to reject, I can specify a rejection reason. I can resupply a file. And again, the process would start again if you were resupplying. So, but on this occasion, I'm going to approve. So here we go. We've got one approved, and now I'm going to review the other proof. Approve and confirm. I'm going to close my window. So I'm back on the pre-production board as an internal user. There's my 2 jobs that I've just approved. If I refresh this screen, they go off of this screen. They've now gone on to the automation screen. So this is where typically after proof approval, we'd be adding additional marks or showing doing additional fixes. So if I just refresh this, yeah, they've now gone. Yeah, so the whole process is all 5 or 6 jobs have gone through pre-production. They should now be on the production board, ready for print. Now, what I want to show you is that on the banners. So if I just go into, I think it was number 4. Yeah. So we've got our booklet. Yeah. So again, in here we've detected that there's a Pantone used. We've added a note. Now this can be, we can add this as a special instruction so that or a priority note so it appears on the production job ticket, or we could update the status and change the job back to a status to say that someone needs to go back to the customer. They've actually supplied a spot color. What do they want to do with that? Do they want to requote to actually print the spot color, or do they want to convert to CMYK? Now, if I go into the banners, so here we can see the height of the banner was 2 meters. Yeah? The banner art was supplied at 2150. So it includes, this customer was savvy. They added the additional 150 mil. So we didn't need to change the size of the file. So we just added some white area on the bottom for where the banner base, where it sticks to the banner base. So if I go into number 5 and look in the artwork, So here we can see we've added the extra white space at the bottom. Now, if I go back and go into number 6, if you remember, was again the same product, but here we can see the art was supplied at near enough 2 meters, so we added 150 mil of extra space to the bottom to allow for the base. So if I go into the banner, open up the artwork. Yeah, that's it. So again, we've added the extra white space to the bottom. Now, again, this is just an example of what we can do. You know, we can create cut files. We can put the zoomed dots on. We can put printers marks on. You know, the options are pretty much endless. So this is just to highlight that we can make changes to the artwork that typically your prepress department may have to do manually. They are now all on the printing board, awaiting printing. So that's it. Short and sweet. Obviously, you know, we've only shown a couple of things, but each development requires scoping. So because obviously everybody's requirements will be different. But there will be a whole scoping phase between CYANfix and printIQ to go through your requirements and to make sure that, you know, one, it's achievable, and two, that it's cost effective for you to go with this solution. So I'll hand back over to Justin now, where we've just got some more slides to go through and a bit more Q&A.
Thanks, John. That's awesome. I'll just reshare my screen. It's like the world's your oyster, really, John, from an automation.
It is, yeah, absolutely.
It's just whatever suits.
Yeah, and you know, we've only got a very short space of time. We can't show everything that we've done, you know, over the years. But you're right, the world is your oyster.
Yeah, but I guess with this, it's like a you know, you can have just an out of the box entry level to be able to start that automation process, so people can get a bit of a taste of what they can do, and then just extend the rules. I'm assuming that's
absolutely. Even when, you know, over the years when we've been delivering complex solutions for people, we always say to them, start out simple, start with your pre-flighting and proofing, and then build on it. Automation is a journey. You know, it's not something that you can just throw in and everything just magically happens.
Yeah, definitely. And I might you know, obviously, you know, you can reach out to Justin and, you know, follow up this further, guys, but I'll just flick through because it'll be good to kind of get to some of the questions and answers. So whilst John's been demoing, I know there's been lots of questions going up in the chat. I'll get Justin, you to cover those if that's okay. Just Justin, you want to talk about, you know, pack print? It's just around the corner. Probably lots of people on the call coming.
Yeah, it is. It's the 20th to the 23rd of May. We've got the stand A87 there. So yeah, we'll be demoing printIQ, but we'll also have John on the stand as well. So you know, he'll be able to talk through CYANfix. So if you're coming to pack print, you know, reach out, book a time if you know when you're coming. Otherwise, you know, we welcome you just to turn up at the stand, and we'll you know, we'll fit you in to take you through what you need to see.
Yep. And Justin, just to kind of, you know, wrap things up, it'd be good for you to go over the Q&A in the chat that people have been putting up throughout.
Yeah, so John, we've got a bunch of questions here. So the first one from Tom, the 6-page roll fold, does it take into consideration the different panel size, example 100, 197, or is it just that it is A4?
Yeah, so again, as mentioned, yes, it can do. In our demonstration, it didn't, but it's all driven by the fold catalog in printIQ. So the integration is very tight. So as long as the quote is correct and the fold catalogs are correct, yeah, then yes, we can do.
Excellent. So as well from Tom, for the banner base art, can can it extend bleed instead so that you don't see the white at the base?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Rightio. Okay, so if an error occurs during the integration between printIQ and Switch, will I receive a notification? And additionally, how can I resync the data to ensure the integration functions correctly afterwards?
Okay, so it's a fully managed service. Yeah. So if there's any errors or issues with a job, yeah, it will be written into the notes of the job that there's an issue. But it's fully monitored all of the time as well. So, if there's any issues, we are on it or alerted of it long before the customer would know. So, but it's a full communication. The customer, as in the printIQ customer, their interface is IQ. All communication will be fed back to printIQ.
Does CYANfix have a user interface to configure what is checked in the pre-flight process or added to the artwork?
No, so that's all done at the scoping process at the beginning. So we build the workflows to suit. If there's any changes required, then we handle that. But ultimately, again, it's driven by the XML. Yeah. So if you want things to work differently, then you quote it differently. So it's fully dynamic in that respect.
Rightio. And the last question, so you're probably going to have to share screen again, John, is can we see the PDF proof, please?
Yes. Yeah.
Stop share.
Okay, so let me just bring up Windows Explorer. That will be in my downloads. Oh, sorry, it was because I was in incognito, it wasn't there. So, but I can go into here. And reset the proof approval, view proof. So again, all we're doing in this instance is we would remove any printers marks and any production required information. But again, this is fully configurable. So if you wanted your something different on your artwork, then that's doable as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks, John. And finally, what's the lead time, John, for an install?
Okay, so currently at the moment, we are looking at about 4 weeks from approving the scope to going live with the setup.
Mm-hmm. And Justin, that requires, just so customers are aware, from a switch module from printIQ, and then we go through the scoping stage with CYANfix, and yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, if people reach out to me,
yeah,
people reach out to me, I can explain the printIQ side of things with the switch module, and then get a call set up with John and Chris to talk through the customer and the three-way communication between us.
Yeah, it's good.
And we're more than happy to set up a personalized demo if customers want something to see something specific, happen in a flow or to their artwork. If they contact Justin and arrange a scoping session, we can go through the requirements, and we can set up a demonstration to prove that we can achieve your desired results.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So that's all the questions that have been covered.
Sure.
I hope we've answered them all for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a short and sweet demo, webinar, I should say. But yeah, reach out to Justin, you know, to take next steps if you want to know more. Obviously, if you're at PackPrint, like Justin mentioned, we're at PackPrint, so it's just around the corner. But I hope we covered everything just from a, you know, an insight into the, you know, entry-level automation for prepress automation, and hopefully it ticks some boxes from some of you guys out there.
Sorry, Rachel, I just got to interrupt because we just had a last-minute question come in, so
Okay.
I don't want to end this without it being answered. So,
Okay.
John, does the pre-flight process notify if multiple sizes are included in the same line item and are ordered incorrectly? For example, if we have 4 different sizes, A4, A3, A2, and A1, and instead of arranging them in the correct sequence, A4, A3, A2, A1, they are ordered as A1, A3, A4, and A2.
Right. So now I think what you could be talking about there is advanced kinds, yeah, because anybody that knows printIQ, if you're talking about kinds, yeah, in simplified you can only have the same size and the same stock and the same number of pages. Advanced kinds, again, will work off of how it's been quoted, so we can verify each page, yeah, against the advanced kinds based on the IQ XML. And again, even with an on-premise solution, it all feeds back to it needs to be quoted correctly to achieve your required automation results. So because the job XML is the foundation for your automation, so that needs to be correct.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer in summary, yes, as long as the XML's right, as long as it's been quoted right, then yes, we can.
Fantastic. It's really good.
I think that's it. There's no more last-minute questions. So
no, thanks everyone for joining. Appreciate it. Hopefully tick some boxes for you guys.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Lovely. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.